Welcome back to the Armchair Generals.
Where we talk 40K news, tactics, lore,
and so much more. We hope you enjoy the video.
Welcome back to the Armchair Generals. I'm Crash. With me is Nova Star.
How's it going, everybody?
And today we thought we would do a little follow-up on the preview. Since Nova Star was unable to join us for the Saturday morning preview, we thought we'd get his thoughts and his ideas on everything that was revealed.
So those previews start like around 5 a.m. in the morning my time. It's
an unholy hour, as I said in our video.
It's very, very early. So we're just going to be looking over the models. I'm going to give my brief thoughts on them and kind of maybe speculate with some of the teases and rules they've given to see how I think they're going to do on the table.
Good.
First up, we have the Silent King, and that is a gorgeous model. I mean, it is amazing. It is a centerpiece diorama-worthy model right there. How good it's going to be in the table, I'm not so sure. His actual stat block isn't super impressive for a character, especially a character that big, because he's in the realm of 16 wounds, so he can't be hidden as easily. The model is ginormous, so physically you're not going to be able to hide it too easily. And it has a huge footprint because it's got those two little floaty rock things. Now, I could 100% eat my words, depending on the special rules for this guy. Because I want to use him, because I love the two little Waldorf and Statler heckling guys that are up there with him. They're just hilarious. They just remind me of those two Muppets, but in Necron form. So yeah, I'm a little. I'm still out thinking like if this model is going to be good competitively. Now they could come out and he could have like an amazing invulnerable save as long as he has one of those pylons, or he could have a really cool rule like Gazcool where he can only take X amount of damage per phase, and then totally usable. But as of right now, what they're giving, I don't think he's going to be super competitive. But again, they don't really show off a lot of his special rules. So
it looks to me like they're kind of going for a bit of a Primarch sort of level character for the Necrons. 16 wounds. My question will be if the Triarchal Menhirs, if they can take hits for him. If they can take hits for him, then that gives him the equivalent of 26 wounds.
Oh, sure, you're correct about that. And he'll probably have the living metal rule, so he'll regain wounds during the battle.
I know. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. The model is gorgeous.
It's just a lot of people who will tailor their list to be able to take out Knights or Magnus and Mortarion. So if they can do that, they'll probably have a good shot at the Silent King. So, like I said, it's going to depend on his special rules. Like Gazcool came out and he had that really awesome, can only take 4 wounds a phase thing. And it made him instantly viable competitively.
Well, yeah, because no matter how much firepower he takes, so your opponent's only going to use so many shots on him.
Like even if he gets in combat with, Guilliman or Magnus, he's only going to take 4 wounds in that combat when he could punch the snot out of the other guy.
I know they did say in the preview that his weapon is going to give him additional strength. I don't remember how much they reference, but I mean I would assume at least 2 extra strength.
It looks like a souped up Void Scythe. I want to say at least 3, maybe even 4. He might have a really baller stat.
If he's swinging at strength 8 or 9.
I mean, he's king of the Necrons after all, like king of the Necron.
Quite literally. But no, yeah, I agree with you. I'm not, just based on the stat line, I'm not seeing him being super competitive because he does have a big footprint. He's going to be very difficult to hide. Kind of like the Demon Primarchs. So, I mean, he really will come out on a level with them. And as far as that, because, I mean, those wings on Magnus and Morty make them very, very hard to hide.
So I want to see what he does for the army. Like, is he giving rerolls to this or that, like Guilliman does? does he play cross dynasty? Is he gonna, because he has his whole Serekian dynasty? Will he affect the other guys too? Kind of like how Yemen affects other imperial armies,
Mm-hmm.
which he's king of the Necrons. He should.
I'm
And
hoping,
100%, I bet he's a Lord of War, so you're gonna want to take a Supreme Command attachment with him.
I'm hoping he'll end up as one of the Supreme Commanders. I mean, I would assume if Necrons are going to get one, it would be him.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
and I forget how the Supreme Commander selection is going to work.
So how that works is you take a Supreme Command attachment, you have to take a Primarch, Demon Primarch, or Supreme Commander, and they have to be your warlord. So if you're taking him, he's going to be your boss. But then what he does is he fully refunds you for the Supreme Command attachment and either a battalion, patrol, and brigade, if I recall. So you get all your command points back.
Okay, so there's no penalty to taking the Supreme Command attachment.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He is your warlord. That's it. He's the boss.
That's good, though, that it doesn't penalize you for taking them. Because, I mean, Gilman's supposed to be able to be part of any Imperial army.
Yeah.
Now
you take him, he's gonna be the warlord of your army. Even if you take him in the Adeptus Sororitas or Astra Militarum, he's gonna be the boss.
I'll be curious to see once he gets labeled a Supreme Commander. I'll be curious to see how people work him into other Imperial armies, whether he'll be worth working into them or not.
Well, so Gilman actually doesn't have to be labeled a Supreme Commander because the Supreme Command attachment already has allowances for the Primarch keyword.
Oh, okay.
It has you can take a Supreme Commander, a Primarch, or a Demon Primarch.
Okay, so you can already do that with him.
Correct.
Interesting.
So next up, we have the Ophidian Destroyers,
Oh,
which I know on the video you may mention that they look like the old Necron Wraiths, and it's because they do. I mean, the same spine, the same shoulder blades. They're reimagined Necron Wraiths from 3rd edition.
with an extra set of arms. That's it.
That's right. But even those old Necron Wraiths had the little scalpel finger hands. So now it looks like they just kind of bolted on the Scorpec arms. I mean, I like them. I think they're really cool.
Love them.
And with the theme that we're getting is it looks like the Destroyer cult seems to have taken over a lot more Necrons since the opening, because now we have Ophidian Destroyers, we have Scorpec Destroyers, we have Locust Destroyers, and I believe I saw a rebox of the original Destroyers, and instead of the green rod on the sprue is just 4 little bits of gray plastic to put where they're going. So I think as of now they're not going to get rid of them, but I still feel like they're being phased out. See what I did there?
Well, and the heavy gauze cannon even got a new profile in those boxing leaks that we saw.
Oh, did it?
Had a new.
Well, that's good. So that means the normal destroyer and the heavy destroyer will probably still be around. So you can now theoretically, with the destroyer lord and the Scorpec destroyer lord, you can take all destroyer army, a whole destroyer cult.
You just need troops.
Well, I mean, you don't have to use the battalion.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I have not gotten rid of that old mentality of you have to have troops.
Well, it's how we learned to play. The Force org chart, you had your HQ and your 2 troops, and every army was that plus
I miss
whatever else.
Org chart. It heavily restricted people's ability to take cheese.
I mean, I miss it and I don't. I like the ability to kind of tailor your army to more however you want to play. But I do enjoy that now, if you're not going to do that, those outlier detachments like Vanguard and Spearhead will cost you some of your cool points.
That's fair. I know the stats on the Ophidian Destroyers look pretty nasty.
10-inch movement, 3 weapon skill, 3 BS, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 10, save 4, and it looks like almost all their weapons are adding additional attacks. So they're swinging out there with with 6 attacks, and
Yep.
it just depends how you want to slice them up and divvy them out.
Though,
And at first with the T4, I'm like, they're kind of weak because I think the Scorpic destroyers are T5, right? The scuttling ones. So I'm like, oh, these guys are a little bit weaker. But then they also showed off that they have living metal, so they're going to be regaining wounds.
and the whip coil bodies gives -1 to hit them.
Yeah.
In melee.
I don't know. These guys are definitely good. I think they're going to see play because they have a few key things that a lot of other Necron units lack. Is their speed 10, so they're much faster than other units. They have a inbuilt deep strike / tunneling mechanic, so you can set them up closer to the enemy position. You don't have to pay a stratagem for it. You don't have to use your command points. They have good weapons. They come with living metal reanimation protocols, command protocols, which I think is one of the other rules they kind of previewed, and then the whip coil body. So I think, and they're 5 power level, which for starting at 3. And if I remember correctly, 1 power level is about equal to 20 points.
Sounds about
So,
right.
so that's about 100 points for 3 of them. That seems pretty good, I think.
Actually, on them, I might be willing to look at the Hyperphase Reap Blade, the big 2-hander. On the Scorpex, I wasn't willing to really consider it because when I mathed it out, it didn't make much difference against most targets that they'd be fighting.
Well, in this unit, it says 1 model has to have it. It says for every 3 models in this unit, 1 model is equipped with 2 Reap Blades. Like, they don't get a choice. Like, 1 person just has a Reap Blade.
Oh.
Every other model gets the Threshers.
With 2 Hyperphase Reap Blades, Ophidian Claws, every other model is equipped with Hyperphase Threshers and Ophidian Claws. So they dual wield the Reap Blade?
Yeah.
2 Hyperphase Reap Blades, Ophidian Claws, every other model.
And if you notice, it says every other model has Hyperphase Threshers, not 2 Hyperphase Threshers, so you can't get double the attacks on them.
No, I mean that makes sense. Okay, well, I mean maybe I'm confusing the Reap Blade on the Scorpex.
I think they're the same weapon.
They
would have to be. They have the same name. They've got to be the same weapon, right?
I thought it was. I thought the Scorpex had the Reap Blade and the Threshers.
Well, luckily, I have my Edge of Silence book right here. So let's take a look.
And then I saw with the Hyperphase Reap Blade down there, it has exploding 6s.
So Scorpic Destroyers, Hyperphase Reap Blade, +2 strength. Yep, -4 AP, 3 damage, correct. Hyperphase Thresher, strength user, AP -3, 2 damage, makes 1 additional attack with weapon. So yeah, it's the same weapon.
That might be a typo then on the Ophidian Destroyer line.
But even in the Edge of Silence books, it even says 1 destroyer in the unit is equipped with the Reap Blade. Everyone else has the Threshers. So they're very locked into their equipment.
They are. But like this says is equipped with 2 Hyperphase Reap Blades. Why would that does
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. I think that might be a typo.
that is probably a typo. I'm gonna go with you on that one. But how much do those Reap Blades cost in points? Because if they're 0 points, and it doesn't matter at the moment. They don't have to like fix that.
I do not know what their points cost is.
Now, Scorpic Destroyers, funnily enough, are slower. They are tougher and stronger on their chassis, and they cost more in the power rating. I'm hoping in the Codex that the Scorpic Destroyers get a little more juice, a little more love, especially since we're seeing these guys get a cool rule. Like, I hope the Scorpic Destroyers get some kind of scuttling rule to where maybe they can advance and charge.
That would be pretty cool.
Because of their crabby legs.
I actually expected the models on the Scorpic Destroyers to be a little bit bigger. Kind of small.
Oh, you're talking about kind of like compared to the little cinematic they did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were much bigger in that cinematic, weren't they?
Yeah, like significantly bigger. But then I stood one from the Indominus box next to the Marine from the Indominus box, and it really was just a little bit bigger height-wise, but it wasn't anywhere near as bulky. Like, there's probably more plastic in the Indominus Assault Intercessor than there was on the Scorpec Destroyer.
Jeez.
They're kind of, I mean, they're cool looking, but they're a lot smaller than I was expecting. I was expecting them to be big and bulky. But
well, hopefully the Scorpec's a little more juice, but as of right now, what I'm seeing, about 100 points for 3 of these models, that's awesome. That's going to be really good. I would take them.
it's almost an auto include at that point.
And I feel like they're going to perform a very similar job to Wraiths. I'd like to see what they change with the Wraith, but it almost seems like these guys are a bit more glass cannon-y, where the Wraiths are more defensive because they're tougher.
Yeah.
So, I can't wait for the Codex. Really, really want to get the Codex in hand. But now we're going to go down to the next unit, and it's so good and creepy looking.
Oh, it's so grody.
Oh, they're just, the flayed ones are so good, and they're just covered in the skins of their victims.
I mean, the models are excellent.
And I really love the touch of the little velociraptor claw, like on their feet. It's so cool.
The one with the arm hanging from his neck, like from around his shoulders, just
Yeah,
just a straight up arm.
it's almost like the skin is like oozing off them.
I mean, if it's old enough, it could be. Oh, I mean, the models from a technical aspect, yeah, they're fantastic. They're gorgeous.
They really upped like the cosmic horror of this new line of Necrons. I mean, the warriors look much more like robot zombies, like the old art. These guys are definitely much more intimidating and scary looking with the flesh draping off them. The Obadiah destroyers have that the scalpel fingers. Yeah, they definitely kicked it up, and I think it looks really good.
I'll be curious to see what the Flayed One's data sheet looks like. They do have exploding sixes, though, on hit rolls with their flesh hunger.
Yeah, I see that. I bet, so they're going to get those exploding sixes, and I bet they're going to have something to do modifying enemies' leadership. Like enemies' leadership is probably at a -1, and maybe you're at a -1 to your the runaway check. I know that's not what it's called, but to see if more models run away from the unit.
Combat attrition.
Yeah, I hope they do something with combat attrition. I want to see more units starting to take advantage of that.
Well, I mean,
do things against it.
When the opponent you're fighting in melee is wearing Bob, your buddy from barracks number 98, I mean, yeah. I don't want to end up like Bob. I'm gonna run.
Tell you what, I got my daughter that Warhammer Necron novel, like that for kids, and there's a flayed one in it, and it surely is not described like this.
Yeah,
that'd be how you get 8-year-olds not to play the game.
Yeah. Flayed One's probably not the greatest choice to work into a kid's novel. But I mean, I think it's cool though that they're expanding. Looking at like novels for kids and stuff like that. And I know they've been looking at higher level video games and video game studios. I would love to see some AAA level 40K games. That would be amazing.
So next we have the Chronomancer and the Psychomancer. I'm just going to do them together.
Squidward.
Almost nothing of their rules is shown, but yeah, they both have these tendrils that are holding them up. One's tendrils are a lot more like stronger and thicker than the other with the Chronomancer. The Psychomancer just has the two big ones, which obviously they're just to hold them all up, but its body is like super atrophied. It almost looks like just a big old scarab. But
I mentioned it in the other video, but he gives me very big tripod from War of the Worlds vibes. The Psychomancer.
Psychomancer. Yeah, like I said, they've amped up that like horror aspect of the army. And he's even doing a weird finger thing with his staff that looks like an occult or Oculus symbol. How he's holding his staff.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. I love this digitization stuff that they're doing with some of these newer models. I mean,
Oh,
like,
it's super cool. Oh, I just noticed that it's a digitized skull.
yeah,
Like the light that he's making. That's really cool.
looks like the Void Dragon model.
And then, oh yeah, the Void Dragon with the digitized skin, like repairing itself, is super neat.
So good.
And then the Chronomancer, it looks like he actually has the prisms that they hold the command shards in. It looks like that's what he's doing. Is opening one like his Pokemon and just chucking it. But sadly, that's what Catan has become. I'm just gonna roll my eyes at that because I hate that lore change for them.
Yeah,
I liked when they were in control in the Masters, and like either way, I just thought that was better. But these models are super duper cool. Can't wait to see some more rules. It reminds me a lot too of in 5th edition when your Cryptex actually had a point, and when one was a Chronomancer, one was a Plasmomancer, and they did different things in the game when they were part of the Royal Court. And then they just totally dropped that in 6. I'm like, it's a Cryptex. Here you go.
I
I
mean,
like that they're giving them way more flavor now.
unfortunately, Games Workshop does have a tendency to do that, just wholesale drop things and then pick them back up later.
I think it's their model is for the longest time they would make these awesome, super duper cool rules, and they would just say, "Hey, just go buy some models and convert and make your own." And once the competition started getting stiffer and tougher and more legalese and legal battles were in, but that's something that they almost had to do, which really sucks. So now that they've reached the technology to where they can reproduce all these old school ideas, they're bringing them back, and you can see that across all the factions, which I'm happy for because it injects a lot more flavor into them.
I definitely see myself using some Chronomancers though. That invuln bubble.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
In your command phase, you can select one friendly dynasty unit within 9 inches of this model until the start of your next command phase. You can re-roll charge rolls made for that unit, and models in that unit have a 5+ invulnerable save.
I'm not even sure if the reroll charges is going to come up too much. I feel like more people are going to use that to bubble up on giant squads of warriors and just march them.
That's what I want to do with it, is give them a big ol' invulnerable save. Or destroyers. I don't know if they'll be able to keep up with destroyers, but putting them with a squad of Scorpex or something like that.
Well, who knows? Maybe the little tentacles help them like move across the battlefield.
Maybe. And then the Psychomancer has the effect you were talking about, hoping the flayed ones have.
So hopefully they stack that you can double that up, do a Psychomancer and flayed ones, and then do something of a kin of a Necron leadership bomb army.
That would be pretty cool.
Make your opponent run away.
That would be really cool. I would definitely enjoy having a little more variety to the way the Necrons get played.
No, but all these Necron models coming out now, I believe we talked about this the other day between us. There's 3 types of destroyers coming. You have the Silent King, you have the Catan Shard, you have a new Monolith, new Warriors, new Lieutenant character, 2 new Cryptex, Illuminator Ceres just got a model. Like, if Necron players complain about models, like,
Yeah.
like they're definitely getting an amazing treatment right now. Rightfully so. They haven't had like, I think 5th edition they had some stuff, and then finally in 6th edition when they introduced when Flyers actually got the fly rule, they got the Doom Scythe and Night Scythe, and then I think they didn't get anything until the plastic Cryptek. Yeah. So yes, it's been a long time. They're definitely deserving of more models.
They got a bunch of new stuff in 5th edition, which was good because they needed it. And then,
then
they got their Flyers, and that was it.
So, I mean, except for some of the characters that do need to be released because they're old and fine cast and frail and brittle, I think the army is pretty set for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, they're great. They should be able to play every phase with the psychic phase. And even if they can't damage people, if they have rules that let them like stop and block other people's psychic stuffs, I'll be happy on a little bit bigger of a scale.
And I mean, even if it's technology rather than psychic abilities, just stuff in that phase to block or stop, or even throw some of their own stuff. I mean, if it's technology based, I mean, like the Chronomancer, it would be cool if he had like some kind of time warp ability, like the
maybe like, hey, I'm gonna rewind time if you got a successful power off, reroll your cast roll, right?
that would be cool. Like I could see a lot of different like technological manipulations that express the same as psychic power, so they go off in the psychic phase. It'd be or the command phase, either or.
Hopefully they do more with the Catan powers, which now that they have a brand new shiny model to attach rules to, I'm sure they will.
Good.
And they're
so bad.
They're like physics law defying abilities could just be easily expressed as a psychic power roll, even though it's not. All right, let's move into the poster boys. First up, I'm not going to spend too much time on him because it's a Gravis captain with what looks like a power sword and a heavy bolt rifle.
Yeah.
He's going to do what captains do in Gravis armor, like the last guy, but instead of having a punchy fist, he has a power sword.
And
I don't think he's going to be taken a lot. He just don't.
Space Marine captains, unless they're a Smash captain, they're just not an attractive option.
No,
there's nothing to set them out and set them aside.
The sniper one is, but only in certain armies. Like the Raven Guard, you can give him like special sniper bullets. You can give him a relic sniper rifle, and he becomes really, really good.
But that's a very specific situation where it's good.
Yeah,
it's like the Smash captains. Captains are great when they're Smash captains. Captains are great when they have the sniper,
right.
Stuff. But standard captains like this guy, they're just. I mean, the model looks fantastic.
Yeah, so he's in Gravis armor, which is already a hindrance in how you're going to transport him. Depending on what chapter you take, it's like just pay the extra points for Calgar, Pharaohs, I think Torgadon for Imperial Fist. Like they're in Gravis, so you're already in that hamper. Just get those extra abilities. So
I agree.
While cool, and some people might just use him because he is cool looking, but I don't think he'll be that effective.
I mean, it's like the lieutenants. All the 1,000,005 lieutenant models, are they cool? Yeah, most of them are really cool looking. But who uses lieutenants?
And now here we go, the heavy intercessors, which I don't actually understand why they made this unit.
How dare!
I mean, you had intercessors as troops. Now you have heavy intercessors.
Yeah.
I guess, but now you also have, I guess, infiltrators and what's the other one? Okay, Games Workshop, stop calling your Primaris troops with I. Stop. Give them new names. Use a different letter.
Stop giving them dumb names. They're just not good names. The aggressors, the inceptors, the intercessors. Like it's just the impulsors. They're dumb. They're dumb names. They're dumb and they confuse people.
It's like they have that tank from Family Guy with a bunch of manatees in there. Like, pick us words for the Space Marine names.
I mean, the models are cool. And I mean, I know I've ranted about how the models were introduced and everything and how they used to push, it really seemed like they were pushing out firstborn Marines and everything like that. And I mean, they are, but they're doing it a little better now. But these names are just.
Oh, and they're doing it even more because now with these heavy intercessors, there's a heavy weapon in the squad, a heavy bolt rifle. The Eradicators can now take multi-meltas. So those niche things that the firstborn Marines were good at, like Devastator squads, or I still hear this argument all the time. Like, I could take a flamer and a missile launcher in my tac squad. The intercessors can't do that now. I'm like, nope. I have a unit that can now.
Yep. I mean, I personally really like the heavy intercessors, but I like this is, in my opinion, what if they were going to introduce new Troops Choice Space Marines, this should have been from the beginning what they introduced. A heavier version of a Space Marine. Not have the in-between of the Primaris intercessors.
Yeah. Well, now they had their scouts filled out. They had their normal Marines filled out, and now they have a heavier troop option filled out.
I mean, I do love the idea of having 3 wound models for a Troops Choice in the Space Marine Army.
Oh, that's so good. And their weapon is really good too. What do they all have? They all have heavy bolt rifles. So let's go look at the heavy bolt rifle. Range 36, strength 5. It's already, now we're making Tau Fire Warriors cry because that was their thing. Heavy 36, so it's longer range than a Fire Warrior gun because it's Marines, and so of course it will be. AP -1, damage 1.
Yep.
And it's rapid fire. So at 18 inches, they're firing twice, or if they stand still, they're going to shoot that twice. That's really good.
It is. I
And
like the Hellstorm bolt rifles a lot myself.
Oh, the Assault 3 one.
Yeah.
You're giving up 6 inches for an extra shot. You're giving up 1 AP, which will change once you get to, I guess, in Tactical Doctrine, your assault weapons will get that AP back. But then those heavy bolt rifles will be AP 2. So,
But like White Scars, being able to move, advance.
Yeah, you're right. It's so dumb with these heavy troops now being super quick, moving and advancing and not carrying shoot. And they're just shooting their weapons.
It's like, yeah, they're an inch less movement, but they're gonna move and advance and then just blaze it, DACA away with that Hellstorm bolt rifle and take no negatives for advancing. So I mean, they're gonna be looking at 6 to 11 inch of movement in Gravis armor and just blazing away with those. And if they have any stratagems like the existing intercessors where they get like auto hits or something like that, I mean, that's going to be a brutal squad for White Scars.
Yeah, it is. 10 of them with 30 shots. That's gross.
I mean, the standard heavy bolt rifle is going to be amazing with Ultramarines. Absolutely amazing. Because, yeah, Tactical Doctrine for turn 2 and 3. So you don't count as moving. So you get that double shot, at 36 and then 4 shots at 18 inches. I mean, that's...
Well, where you can still move that 5. Yeah, when you're in Tactical Doctrine as Ultramarines, you're going to be moving in turns 2 and 3. You're going to be moving these dudes.
Yeah.
So you might as well just add that 5 inches onto the range of the gun.
It's just, oh yeah, no, it's, and I mean, the Executor bolt rifle, I mean, that's
damage 3.
The Executor heavy bolter.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. Damage 2 still. But they're popping their Primaris brothers out the way.
I mean, you take a squad of them, sit them on a backfield objective, or just give them a good sniper position. I mean, they can clear, squads of Chaos Marines once they get their second wound.
Even Marines had to get something to kill other Marines, like Games Workshop. We're going to give all Marines a second wound, and we're going to give Primaris Marines a way to get rid of them still.
I mean, I see a lot of tactical use for them. They are 7 power, so 140 to 150 points for a 5-man squad. Plus, taking a heavy bolter in addition. So I mean, it is going to be pricier than a regular squad, but I mean,
I'm not even sure if I would take the heavy bolter over their normal heavy bolt rifles.
I probably
just because it's heavy, and if you want to move around, you're limited.
I genuinely probably wouldn't pay the extra points for it most of the time.
The model looks cool with it. I mean, it looks super dope.
I would take it with the Executor bolt rifles. Like if I've got a squad that's got the Executor bolt rifles, yeah.
But I don't think you can.
What?
I don't think it lets you.
So the way it works is all the models in the unit can have their bolt rifles here. For every 5 models in this unit, 1 heavy intercessor's bolt rifle can be replaced with 1 heavy bolter, 1 heavy intercessor's auto bolt rifle, heavy auto bolt rifle. Oh, they used the wrong.
But look at the top part. It says if no model in this unit is equipped with a heavy bolter, then everyone can have a
I'm reading
your bolt rifle.
Reading the second part down here.
Oh, okay.
one heavy intercessor's heavy auto bolt rifle, so they forgot to put Hellstorm in there, can be replaced with one Hellstorm heavy bolter, or one heavy intercessor's heavy stalker bolt rifle can be replaced with one executor bolt heavy bolt rifle.
Yeah, so it feels like the heavy bolter was
stalker bolt rifle, not executor bolt rifle.
Yeah, it feels like the heavy bolter was just kind of thrown in, like thrown out of a bone. Like, here you go.
Well,
like it's the one weapon that stands out is not really fitting in with the others.
I think that they just worded it this way so you can't take like a heavy bolter with the other types of bolt rifles, though it really doesn't make sense why not.
Right.
I mean, the Hellstorm heavy, I guess you can't take like a heavy Hellstorm bolt rifle with regular heavy bolt rifles, so it really doesn't make sense why you wouldn't be able to. Probably the only one I would spend the points on would be the Executor heavy bolt rifle, along with regular Executor bolt rifles. Like, if the whole squad's already going to be standing there, might as well get one of their things that has 2 shots and 3 damage.
Oh, it's so good. And that range is super good too.
42 inches, and if you do the custom chapters, we need to look that up yet, see if that applied to heavy weapons or not. But I see a lot of uses for them. Raven Guard.
Raven Guard with them. Ultramarines are gonna be good with them.
Dark Angels.
Iron Hand's got such a huge clip to their power. They're still gonna be good, it's not as good. That first turn, though, if they have some firing wings, they're going to be lighting people up.
So I definitely, I see a lot of use for them. And 3 wounds apiece, they're going to be tough. And because they're in Gravis, they're toughness 5. So they're toughness 5 with 3 wounds. I mean, I don't see any point in using regular intercessors when I can take them.
No, I think regular intercessors are probably maybe getting retired. Now, assault intercessors, they have a purpose. You're wanting to go get up into melee with people and go chop chop. But just the normal run-of-the-mill intercessor is probably getting replaced, at least on the tabletop, by these 2 choices. You got your assault version, or now you got your heavy version.
Yeah, I look at this, and yes, it's going to be more points than a regular intercessor squad, but I mean, a regular intercessor squad's 100 and 100? 100 or 100?
I think they're 100 or 120, around that.
Yeah, so they're somewhere in there. So if these guys are 140 to 150, I'll gladly pay the extra 20 to 30 points to get these boys over regular intercessors. So I don't know. I don't understand things that GW does on a regular basis. I don't understand why they made them. I love them, and I'm happy they made them, but I don't understand why they made them.
Now I'm thinking about all the special ammunition options with these heavy weapons as Death Watch.
Oh, because they're bolters. They're all bolt weapons.
They're all bolters.
Oh, no. Oh, Death Watch heavy intercessors. No, I don't want to play Death Watch.
You put these guys on your objectives, and you send out your veterans to go take objectives.
Veterans with storm bolters and storm shields just march across the field, laying waste to any troops on objectives. Ugh.
Let's see, because if you take with that, I would give them all the Executor bolt rifles. So now they're heavy 1, strength 5, -2 AP, maybe first turn, and then I would give them like the Kraken round. You can make them -3. I'd probably still be firing Hellfire rounds. So like, oh, that's a sweet Hive Tyrant. We're wounding you on 2s, buddy.
Yeah.
You got X amount of squads of these guys shooting you with -2. So their 3-up save becomes a 5-up, which I think is that the Hive Tyrant invulnerable is a 5-up?
Yeah.
So now that you drop him to his invulnerable, and everything that's going through is 2 damage, and they're hitting you on 3s and wounding you on 2s. And because you're a filthy Xenos, they're going to be re-rolling the hit, and I think re-rolling 1s to wound with the new preview of their chapter doctrine.
So they will shred a Hive Tyrant.
Yeah.
Absolutely shred a Hive Tyrant. Oh, they're going to be really, really, really good in Death Watch.
I have to get
This
me
is a
some
good
of
thing you
these.
started a Death Watch army, huh?
Right? Oh, just as planned.
Oh,
So go with special issue ammunition.
so now, where's the heavy Hellblasters?
The heavier heavy Hellblasters in the Gravis armor.
I mean, we just got Eradicators, and now we've got heavy Intercessors. So where's my heavy Hellblasters?
So, okay, let's go look at the Eradicators. The new multi-part Eradicator kit looks really good. I especially like the dude pointing, like, I'm going to blow you up next.
Babe Ruth in it.
And the multi-melt is cool, but again, I wouldn't waste it on these guys.
No.
I'd much rather keep their two-shot, like, Melta Lance gun, which is, in my opinion, just as good as a multi-Melta.
Isn't it an assault weapon?
Yeah, their new one's an assault weapon.
Yeah.
It's let me consult my Edge of Silence book.
It's range 18 though. I know it's shorter range, but so all you're getting
is range 24, sir. The Melta rifle. Yeah. It's range 24, assault 1, strength 8, minus 4 AP, D6 damage. And then right now it still has that the old rule if they're in half range, but that's going to get changed. And then they have the total obliteration rule. If they all shoot at the same thing, you can shoot twice.
That's right. Okay, that's where the second shot comes from. Yeah, I mean,
it literally the multi-Melta better be cheaper than their Melta rifle because it's a worse weapon.
I mean, it's got 2 shots base. So if you can fire it twice, it'd be 4 shots.
Oh, okay. You're right. They do get to do that protocol because that's on the unit, not on the weapon.
So, I mean, yes. But at that point, you're moving, so you're taking the negative to hit. I mean, 2 shots hitting on 4s is still better odds than 1 shot hitting on 3 or 4 shots versus 2 shots. But if it's like a 20-point upgrade, no. I mean,
yeah. If it's cheap, like 10 points, I would do it then because then, yeah, 4 shots hitting on 4s is better than 2 shots hitting on 3s.
If it's like a 10-point upgrade or maybe even a free one, like 1 and 3 can have this. All right. But even then, I mean, even then, the regular ones, if you needed to, like say White Scars, you could advance them and fire without penalty with the regular assault ones. So I mean, and you can't advance and fire the heavy. So I guess I guess it would depend on what army you're playing. Because if you're playing White Scars, then yeah, no multi-Melta. Because you cut out so much of your mobility by waiting for that thing. But like Salamanders, I could absolutely see Salamanders taking it.
Yeah, for sure. You're right on that. Especially since if they keep that Artisan of War, you could probably re-roll one of those hits from that multi-melta, even if you moved.
So I mean that would be. So I guess it'll really just depend on who you're playing, because like Ultramarines could, move around 2 of the.
Yeah, they don't count as moving, so they don't care. They're fine. So
the multi-melta would work pretty well for them, but would not work for White Scars. Wouldn't work for. I guess it just really depends on what you're doing with them and who you're playing as.
All right. I'm not going to touch on the Blade Guard because they're just getting a multi-part kit. I don't think there's any differences in the models.
I mean, there's a lot more poses and options, but
they showed a really cool one of him like wiping off his blade with a flag.
Yeah,
like that was really sweet.
I mean, they're not getting anything new, just really, really cool models that to add to the already existing really, really cool models.
Same with the Assault Intercessor. The only new thing they kind of showed off was that the Sergeant was going to get access to special weapons and like different pistol options, which I think everyone just knew was coming.
That Thunderhammer looks like a baby Thunderhammer in his hand.
When I saw that, it reminded me of a whack-a-mole at like say an arcade. Because it just look tiny.
In the previous video, I even asked El Scotcho, I was like, is that a mini Thunderhammer or is that full size? It just looks small in his hand. I do like the little flamer though.
The hand flamer, yeah. It's the same as what's on the Salamander kit. They have a Thunderhammer and hand flamer.
I like the poses. I like the Grenadier who's already blown up half his face. So they put the cyborg face head on there. It's like he got missed with a grenade once.
I'm just gonna chug this whole satchel.
There's not a whole lot to touch on there, but no. Now we get to what you really, really want to.
get these new storm speeders. Oh, these are so good. And we had like a leak of these months upon months ago in like the super grainy picture, and everyone's like, what's that? I want to say that grainy picture had the Primaris bikers, the Gladiator tank, and these in it, and everyone was like, well, what's going on? We kind of see a tank, a bike, and a speeder. So we had an idea of these coming. It's just very nice to actually see the models up close.
And it is gorgeous.
And it looks like it's the Scout models that are piloting it, because they look to have similar shoulders and face masks.
Oh, they are in it. They do look like they're in Phobos.
They look like they're Phobos dudes.
I mean, it would make sense to wear the lighter armor in the vehicle.
Well, Gravis guy can't get in there and be a gunner.
And it's funny because as dumb as the ATV is, the Invader ATV is, this is like the exact opposite.
This is like this is the correct way to update the Space Marine line. The ATV was the dumb one.
I mean, rules-wise, the ATV is great, but it's so that he literally looks like he's sitting in an arcade racer at like an arcade.
I mean, I was thinking of using the ATV just because it's 85 points. It's pretty cheap.
Oh yeah,
with the multi-melta in my army, but I'm gonna see if I can clear out some others and just throw in this hammer strike with this heavy multi-melta and this crack missile launcher that it's got in the back. This thing's baller.
Yeah, because we got the hammer strike stats. Hammer strike.
Yeah, we have that
launcher, 2 crack missile shots. Yeah, there's 2 crack storm grenade launchers on there, and then the Melta destroyer.
I don't know why GW feels like they had to put like 1 million crack storm grenade launchers on every Primaris vehicle. It's just points I don't want to spend.
Well, because like you can clearly see on the Hail Strike that those are frag storm grenade launchers.
Yeah.
And then on the Hammer Strike, they're crack storm grenade launchers. And then on
the Thunder Strike, they just look like sensor pods.
See, I had thought they kind of looked like they were like some kind of super little missile launcher, but yeah, El Scotcho thinks they look like sensor pods too.
Well, it's how they do marine lenses. Like if you look at the red, the dark with the little white, it looks like the lenses on the Marine's eyeballs. So that's why I think they're just some kind of sensor pod.
And the lenses up top in the missile array.
Yeah.
Top on that Thunder Strike. I want to see the Thunder Strike stats. I want to know what its top turret is.
The top turret looks like a doubled version of what's already on the Impulsor. So if you go to the Impulsor, it has I will look it up for you right now.
Okay.
In my handy dandy GW app.
Got some hunter killers under the wings, got that Las Talon. Like it. I mean, all three look solid.
So on the Impulsor, it's called a Belactis missile array, and it's got two or three. It has 3 firing types. You can fire frag missiles, so D6 bolter shots at 48 inches, crack missiles, a heavy one, strength 8, -2 D6 damage, or it can fire Icarus missiles, which is D3 shots, strength 4, D3, but you also get bonuses to hitting fly. And this looks like a double version of that.
That sounds solid.
So, either 2d6 bolter shots, 2 of the heavier shots, or 2d3 of the anti-air shots plus 2 hunter killers. And pretty sure that's a Las Talon.
Yeah.
They've been putting those on everything. That's kind of what it looks like.
Like
nub-nose Las Cannon.
Like the frag storms. It's like it's a Primaris vehicle. It needs some frag storms and a Las Talon.
I mean,
and the option to have an onslaught.
As much as I like the repulsors and the executioners, a lot of their weapons just feel like they're at the design to like, we just got to bolt more stuff onto it.
It does.
No, I'm not even going to remember to fire a lot of those smaller guns. Just leave them off so I can save the points.
I don't disagree, because even just going through, it's like, wait, how many of this can I have? How many of that? No. 2 of that? No. 4 of that?
Yeah. Thank goodness it's not like older editions where people could blow off individual weapons. Well, actually, I guess it's not really, because then you have like a 1 in 8 chance of just taking out a Stormbolter instead of your main gun.
Yeah.
But no, because then you'd have to keep track of, okay, so one Stormbolter's dead. I still have 2 more and a frag launcher.
Yep. No, yeah, a lot of the Primaris vehicles do feel that way. They just slapped more stuff on there just cause.
Like, how do we make it better? More guns.
Like, or you can make it a lower points cost so I can take more of them.
I feel like every Primaris vehicle, they try to make it too good at all the jack of all trades things. Like, it's got to have anti-tank, it's got to have anti-vehicle, it's got to have anti-medium. Like, every single one.
As much as I really love the idea of these storm speeders, they just feel like zippy repulsors.
Yeah.
I mean, I will definitely be using them, but
I'm gonna buy. I feel like an army should have 3 hammer strikes in there if you want some fast, heavy support.
Well, that melted destroyer armed one, that's going to be, because with that 16-inch movement, you can get within that half range turn 1.
Yeah,
if they've got
that's what I'm talking about, is a hammer strike.
Yeah, those hammers. I mean, that's 2 crack missile shots, because it's 1 hammer strike missile launcher. Yeah, 2 crack missile shots.
All these speeders probably have a place. I'm not too thrilled on the hail strike one. It's probably the cheapest one, but I mean, all of it's got is like double heavy stubbers, frag storm, and probably a heavy onslaught Gatling cannon. It should be the cheapest of the speeders, but it's not like it's bringing anything really fun or unique to the table that other stuff isn't.
Well, I noticed the Iron Hail heavy stubber in the rules that you that rules leak you showed me earlier has AP1.
Oh, that's good. Don't Iron Hail have AP1 now?
Do they? I don't know. But I mean, at AP1, that gives him 8 strength 4 AP1 shots, gives him 12 onslaught Gatling shots. I mean, it's definitely a anti-troop ship, the Hail Strike. I mean, it's pure anti-troop. 2d6 frag storm shots, 12 onslaught shots, 8 Iron Hail shots.
Yeah, the Iron Hail are already -1.
Okay. But I mean, that's 8 shots at strength 4 AP1, 12 shots at strength 5 AP1, and then 2d6 shots at strength 4. I mean, it's a lot of anti-infantry. So if but I mean, Primaris Marines already have so much anti-infantry.
Yeah, I mean, just your basic heavy intercessors are going to be so anti-infantry.
Yeah,
that's why I say, to me, it's just the most boringest one. It's not bringing anything to the party that everyone else isn't.
Yeah.
But the other 2, because they're heavy weapons, I think are much better.
I think that Thunder Strike is going to be really good, but that Hammer Strike, I think you're right. I think that's the one you're going to see in the competitive meta, because that can race forward and blow vehicles to smithereens turn 1. So that threat area, as you know, if you're facing that, you've got to keep that threat area in mind, because they've got a 16-inch move, and if they're within 12, they get the extra damage.
And a lot of people who want to play more to their army's fluff and background, like, oh, I'm a White Scars, I'm a Raven Guard. Well, neither of those chapters are really known for bringing out the heavy vehicles, and this is the perfect fill-in for them, 100%.
Yeah, no, on a casual.
If you're playing pure Ravenwing, this is a perfect fill-in, because they already said they get the Ravenwing keyword.
Yeah.
So down here in the rule bubble, if taken by Dark Angels or successors, you get the Ravenwing keyword.
Yeah. But I just think from a competitive level, I mean, that's a 28-inch threat range with that Melta Destroyer, getting the bonus damage off of it.
Gross. And if you do take these as Ravenwing, you take one of the Shroud, the Night Shroud speeders, just like in the middle of a bunch of these, giving them that cover. So now they're protected from shooting. And then you throw in a Talon Master zipping around so they get to reroll their hits.
Primaris Ravenwing will be a thing.
Primaris Ravenwing speeders. Well, all the speeders.
Outriders too. Outriders are nasty.
Outriders are so good. I don't think they'll benefit as much as being in the Dark Angel army as others, but they're still not bad.
I mean, we mathed that out. Outriders, at least right now, are the Space Wolves. Have the best Outriders, because you don't need. I mean, Blood Angels get very, very, very close to their capability. Like so close there's not much difference. Like there's almost no difference, but you need like 2 characters with them.
Where the Space Wolves just need the one.
Where Space Wolves just need a Wolf Priest with the Wolfenstone.
And then, sadly, though, I think the White Scars are just as good, but on paper and math, what they're bringing doesn't equate to the same as what the other guys are bringing. You're just able to close in on the enemy much faster.
Because you can advance and charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, White Scars are not going to have as many attacks, but they're going to have.
They also might not take as many casualties coming in because they'll get there.
So. I mean, you could, that kind of threat range, you could probably get in melee turn 1 without any difficulty. So, I mean, that threat range, especially on these smaller boards, this threat range, people are going to have to be a lot more considerate of the threat range of models.
Gosh, I mean, you're right. With the movement of 16 and the melted destroyer range 24 on the smaller board, like there's not going to be too many places these hammer strike speeders can't jump out and ding you.
Yep. I mean, even a knight. I mean, you pop out a hammer strike, D6 plus 2 damage. I mean, so you're getting a minimum of 3. So you're going to get at least 9 damage, assuming you hit and wound with all 3. I mean, you're getting a minimum of 9 damage. A maximum of dead knight. Because, I mean, 6 plus 2, so 8, 16, 24. So if you happen to roll maximum, dead knight. Turn 1.
Like Bobby Boucher would always say, Mama says if it's good, take 3. So, I mean, if you need tank hunters, a group of these hammer strike speeders are going to be perfect tank hunters.
They really are. I love the versatility and the tactical flexibility they're bringing back to the Space Marine line, because they've been kind of lacking. I mean, they've had brute force, but not tactical flexibility in the kind of the tricky sense. They really haven't had tricks in a while, in my opinion.
That's just the one gun. Don't forget they had the 2-shot missile launcher up top too.
Yeah. So I mean, a squad of 3 of them will easily rip a knight to pieces in a turn. Like very easily.
I'm wondering if you can squad them up. Even then, I would still take 3.
Yeah. Okay.
They're probably fast attack, maybe. I don't think they're going to be heavy.
No, they'll be fast attack, which, I mean, especially for your mechanized list you've been working on.
Gosh, I mean, yeah, I might drop. So I have a suppressor squad and an ATV that I've worked into the points. Depending how these work into it, I would drop the suppressors in the ATV and take a hammer strike, 100%.
Yeah, no, it's pretty glorious. I'm really excited. I mean, this is honestly the most excited I've been about Primaris releases ever. Like, these Primaris releases are really, really cool.
Yeah, they're really coming into their stride with them.
They are.
Granted, I also want to see the points of the Gladiator tank because I really like those too. So that could be in there. I mean, and right there, they're doing it right when you don't know what you want to take, when everything looks cool and viable. That means they're reaching at least an internal book balance. They're reaching a good balance.
Yeah.
Now, how much you make your opponent cry, that might be a different story.
But no, I mean, an internal book balance is good. You don't want auto-include units. Or if you do have them, you don't want too many of them. Like, oh yeah, every list has these. I mean, like Eldar right now, every Eldar list is Shining Spears and Dark Reapers.
Right.
That's what you take if you play Eldar competitively. Shining Spears and Dark Reapers, unless you're trying some, counter meta list. But if you're playing to their strengths, that's what you take. I mean, all the other aspect warriors are not worth their points. And you don't want to see that. And it really looks like they're getting a good book balance with Space Marines. And honestly, from what we've seen of the Necrons, I mean, the Ophidian Destroyers definitely look better than the Scorpex right now. But seeing how the points, fold out and everything like that, it looks like it's got a better balance than it has in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a Death Guard thingy. I don't remember.
So it's a Death Guard Lord, and it looks like he has a Plague Spewer, which is just a plague version of a Heavy Flamer. I believe you can re-roll ones to wound with it. Then he's got a Power Fist. So he doesn't. Nothing really looks special about him. I do like the little virulent goo that's coming off his claw tip. But it definitely gives the Death Guard player more HQ options, because before I think they just had a Scythe Lord and a Sorcerer for HQ. So I think their other characters are elites. So it just gives them more to play with. You have more of a slightly more ranged combat Lord. You can also go up and punch people.
They do have a lot of really good elites choices, though. But yeah, I mean, from a technical aspect, as always, it's fantastic. It's just gross. The goo and ooze.
And then
to a minimum, though.
Let's totally give it up, like with the Codex covers. These are balling. These are out of the park.
Oh, so good.
And even the Space Wolf. I was surprised they didn't use all Primaris. There's actually Space Wolf Terminators on there. Everything else is Primaris, but
Death Watch covers, fantastic. Didn't you say that's Chaplain Cassius?
I thought someone in a Death Watch group I'm part of, someone said that on one of the streams. They said that was a Primaris Cassius, so I'm hoping so. But you can also see on these Primaris dudes that they actually have the Death Watchy looking bolters. So hopefully they might be doing a new Death Watch upgrade kit that you can use to kind of spruce up your Primaris guys. Because right now they don't have one. You have to use the old kit for the Marines. Because the shoulder pads and everything fit, but there's nothing really super special about it. But if they add like the little, I don't know if you had the picture, but if you see, it has like 3 scopes on there. But if they have like little bits like that where you can just kind of add to a Primaris bolt rifle, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the pictures they showed off looked like full-blown kits. That didn't even look like upgrade spruce. Like, that looked like full-blown Death Watch kits.
I'm just talking about the artwork
of
the Codex. And then I'm happy because you see a flight, I should say a murder of Corvus Black Stars up in the corner, like flying down. That makes me happy because that flyer's super cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Death Watch, the cover looks awesome. Yeah, if you get a chance, look at the models that they showed off. It looks like full-blown Death Watch kits for, Primaris Death Watch kits, which we haven't really seen them do that in a while. It's been upgrade sprues. But like, they're tooled out with a lot of Death Watch gear. And if you look, even there on the front, like those Primaris Marines, they have like the Death Watch bandoliers on the chest and everything like that.
Yeah, hopefully that's not just artistic license and actually did something for them.
And I mean, the Death Guard Codex cover, I mean, it's Death Guard. It looks great. The art's fantastic. I've really, I don't know who they have doing these covers now, but their cover art lately has just...
Well, the Death Guard art is actually from a piece from their old Codex.
Okay.
But I'm still happier it's not just the blah Death Guard Marine that they had before. I think it's much better now.
But I mean, that Blood Angels Codex, that might be the best Codex cover I've ever seen.
Oh, it's amazing. It's really cool looking.
That Marine right there is just so vibrantly red and gold. Like, his armor is just artistic and perfect looking, surrounded by this, the maelstrom of war. And I mean, it just looks fantastic. And then, yeah, I know you're looking forward to the Forge World Compendium.
My Death Watch army, I'm using a Leviathan and the Contemptor. So I want to see if they are going to stay viable, which I hope they are.
Hopefully GW doesn't give them the patented GW double tap.
Right. All right, let's see.
I mean, I understand the need to nerf things when they're too powerful, but Games Workshop always seems to like they do seem to double tap things. They'll hit them twice when they only needed to hit them once.
So I don't see any new models. I'm looking at the model preview, and they kind of pan over a Deathwatch army. It's just the intercessors with a Deathwatch shoulder pad from the normal upgrade kit, and then there's veterans sprinkled behind them and aggressors with what they're using as a Deathwatch Terminator shoulder pad. So I don't think we got anything new or cool for them.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not a total loss because we are theoretically getting access to all the units in the Marine Codex, which will be really nice.
Indeed. I mean, it'll be nice for everybody, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, to have all that access again. That, like back in 3rd edition when we had supplement codexes.
100%.
It was just so much easier because then, anything Space Marines had access to, Dark Angels had access to, Space Wolves had access to, minus whatever was, restricted in their individual book. So, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to everybody having equal access. But, oh yeah, Death Corps of Krieg are getting supposedly a whole new set of updated rules.
That'd be cool because that was a really cool Forge World line. But just looking at the new speeders that GW has up in their little video in the different chapter colors, it's so good.
Yes. Ugh. They're just fantastic. They really are. I mean, their models are always great, but they've just been knocking it out of the park lately. I mean, with all these Necrons, the new Primaris Marines, they've just been really, really knocking it out of the park. And I know I'm pretty excited about that day one patch, thing with the updated weapons profiles for every army.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be good. Hopefully it will tone down some of the, my codex doesn't come out next year, I'm gonna get, why do they get all these cool rules and I still have to use the old ones?
I like that the hand flamers are going up to 12 inches.
Yeah, that is nice.
I wasn't expecting the hand flamers to get it. I know that'll be nice for Gene Stealer cults and sisters, for people that like to take them in there. Where was it? The power weapons. Oh yeah, so I was kind of curious. I saw the Inferno pistol. I'm wondering if the fusion pistol is going to get the same update.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Okay. Well, because the Inferno pistol has the exact same stat line as the fusion pistol, so I'm hoping to see that for Harlequins. And, yeah. Now, where is it? The power weapons. That I thought was interesting. Power axe, going up to +2 strength, AP2, damage 1. Power maul going up to. Wasn't the power maul already +3, or was it +2?
The power maul was +2.
Okay, so that's gone up to +3, AP1, damage 1. And the power sword at +1 and AP3 and damage 1. I mean, at +3, that really, really brings the strength up pretty high. But I think power axes are going to be a big winner there. Power swords bringing, up +1 strength, but power swords and power axes, I think, are going to be the things that see a lot more use.
I think they're correct where it said Space Marine Vanguard veterans, because I could totally see taking some power axes instead of just double chain swords on them.
Yeah, because at +2 strength, that, I'll have to math that out.
And then once you get into the assault doctrine, they're AP3 anyway.
Yeah. I'll have to math that out because at +2 strength, that brings them up to strength 6. So if they're fighting any toughness 3 models, they're now wounding on 2s. So that is a significant advantage over, regular chain swords or even regular power sword.
And then, did you see that the speculation on the Storm Shield got called out? So Storm Shields are all going to 4-up with +1 to your armor saving throw.
Yep.
Which is really nice for Custodies because they're going to get to keep their 3+ from it.
Custodies are already nasty. Now they're going
to get their 1+ armor save and their 3-up invul from it.
Yeah, it's going to be that makes me want to push forward with my Custodes army. We had Terminators, any Terminators that can take storm shields. I mean, any model that can take a storm shield, that makes them so much better.
It's why I was preemptively making all my Death Watch vets with storm shields and storm bolters.
Wolfguard on bike could take storm shields. I mean, it's like the company veterans on bike, even though company veterans are legends now. But I mean, the Wolfguard can take storm shields, storm bolters. I mean, that's a lot of DACA that's really hard to kill. Because they'll, especially if they go up to 3 wounds, which they should, since Marines are getting an extra wound, that'll put Wolfguard on bike at 3 wounds. Give him a storm shield, storm bolter. That's a lot of firepower.
Yes, it is. Oh, I didn't even realize the Hunter Killer missile's going up. It's going to strength 10 from strength 8.
Yep.
That's good. I mean, it's always been one shot. It was always, gosh, sometimes they would just shoot and like do absolutely nothing. So
Wonder what they're going to do to chain axes to make them worth taking over chain swords. I mean,
well, they still give +1 strength, right?
They do, but the extra attack fully outweighs the +1 strength math-wise.
Maybe they should give the chain axe an extra attack too.
I mean, if they brought the chain axe up to strength +2 or AP2, either one that might help. But like I've mathed out Corn Berserkers. Chain swords are better against every single opponent except things that are toughness 5. If something is toughness 5, the chain axe is just a hair better. But if as soon as it goes to toughness 6 and they're both wounding on 5s, the chain swords are better. Toughness 4, chain swords are actually better.
Well, Corn Berserkers are strength 5, so if they're toughness 6 with a chain axe, they'd be wounding on a 4.
I apologize, it was toughness 6. It was the equivalent toughness to the strength with the chain axes is the only time they have a slight advantage. And when I mean slight, it's very slight. Meaning that anything else you're fighting, chain swords are better, and chain axes only have a very slight advantage against one specific toughness. It's chain swords all the way.
Or chain axe. They're such an iconic weapon.
They are. Oh, well,
I mean, they're just as iconic as the chain sword.
They are, because chaos. So I'm just hoping to see that they get some kind of update. I'd be cool with them getting like damage 2, same stat line but damage 2 or something.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Because I mean, the strength +1, AP1, damage 2. I'd be fine with that. That'd be pretty cool. But
this is so funny. Because they talk about the heavy flamer and they say winners, retributors, and they talk about the multi-belter, and one of the winners is retributors again, and they talk about the heavy bolter, and they're like, winners, retributors, like the holy trinity of weapons indeed.
Well, and then regular flamers, they had dominions. Hand flamers, they had the seraphim. Like,
oh, I can't wait to get my Infernus heavy bolters all built. The heavy bolter with the heavy flamer built in.
It's a much better weapon now.
It'll be so good.
All right. Well, we went over all the new changes plus the War Gear weapons updates. Any final thoughts on it all?
I'm just very excited. Like it's a fun, exciting time to be in the 40K hobby and a 40K fan.
I fully agree.
And hopefully with this mass pandemic, we'll be taken care of soon, and vaccines out there that play and tournaments and everything can start getting back to normal.
I agree on all fronts. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on the Armchair Generals. Until next time, I've been Crash.
This is Novastar.
All right. You guys have yourselves a great day. And remember, if you like this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload from us.
Thank you for joining us for today's video.
We hope you enjoyed your time with us.
If you did, please remember to smash that like button.
Hit subscribe and click that notification bell.
so you never miss a video from us.
Until next time, we are the Armchair Generals.